Shelter is really important. In fact, it's so important that on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's on the base level, which means it's as important as food and water. In order to advance up the ranks of needs, I would need a stable and secure shelter. Now, I've been living out here for over 2 months with just a simple tarp and some sticks, but I decided enough was enough. I would make a real shelter, even if it killed me. Previously, I'd experimented with earthen walls and stone retaining walls, and those were pretty alright. Well, now my lower retaining wall is falling apart. Something tells me that maybe an earthen structure is just not the wisest decision. The damage report. 2 of my lower walls collapsed, and 1 of my upper walls collapsed. But I wanted to do better. I looked at all of my mistakes from the earth and stone in my first month and thought, well, why not just do a mixture of both? Don't laugh, that was my actual inspiration. I'd realized that their concept was great so long as they stayed dry, and if you've watched any of my videos, you'll notice a common theme where things just don't stay dry. I don't know if you can see it, but it's flooding everything, pretty much. But I'd also noticed that as long as things were off the ground and outside the path of direct water, they would stay as dry as the humidity would let them. It is so hot and so humid. There's literally, I don't think you can tell, but my shirt is soaked, my legs are soaked, everything, my whole person is just soaked in sweat. It is terribly hot and terribly humid. I feel like I'm swimming. Which meant that if the wall had good footing and no direct contact with the ground and had a good roof overhead, it could last potentially a very long time. So I decided to tear down my old chicken coop and build a new structure on top. For the main supports, I'd used logs from the road, and for the beams that support the roof, I'd mostly use saplings I'd cut while tending to the forest. Then I threw the tarp overhead and got to work. To keep it out of the path of direct water, I dug a trench around the base to escort the water around instead of into my building. And time proved that this was a very worthwhile investment. Seems like it's doing its job really well, except it would work a lot better if I completed it. For the base of the wall, I wanted that nice stone retaining wall look, except without the retaining part. So I'd used some gentle persuasion to hammer some larger rocks into place as the footing. Then I poured some fine gravel in between to fill the gaps. My hopes was that it would limit the leaching, and it did. Now, that all in itself was a lot of work, but I had no idea that the wall would be even more so. When building the base of the wall, at first I'd play Tetris with the rocks until they fit just right, and then I would backfill with clay. But after a while, I'd realize that it was way faster just to build the clay core and then smack some rocks onto it. I put a lot of thought into what material to use for the wall's core, and I eventually decided on clay because it just sounds way cooler to say it has a solid clay core. Nah, I'm just kidding. I actually decided on clay because it's a near infinite resource that I can get with very little effort. That and clay takes a while to dry, and the slower it dries, the less cracks will form. And this is important because the stone exterior will substantially slow seepage from the clay interior, making it harder and more water resistant the older it gets. Pretty neat, huh? And that would take care of the base. For the walls, though, I wanted a more refined and uniform look, so I decided on using the compressed earth blocks with a clay and sand mixture as the mortar. I really wasn't sure how this would turn out in the long run, and to be honest, I'm still not sure, but I guess time will tell. Oh, and if you want more information on the compressed earth block machine, I'll link that at the end of this video, but I'm really not going to put any footage of it in this one. This build took a lot of time and a lot of effort, but by the end of the week, I had it done. There comes a point in every day where my body just decides it will go no further. And no matter what I do and no matter what I try, that's it. That's all the work I'm going to get done for the day. And I bring this up now because it is Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock and my body has decided it's done. Which, I guess I have to listen to it. But I was hoping to have at least 3 of these walls completely done and up, bricks and all. But instead, I got 3 segments 3 out of 6 segments, so half of the segments of the base done, except for that piece there. It's missing some pieces. I'm not exactly the strongest tool in the shed, and if we're talking physically, I bet even your average 10-year-old would win almost every time. This is what a week's worth of work looks like, and while many people could do more, I'm proud of it, and I enjoyed making this much. It's moments like these that really remind me that I was gifted with the passion, but not really the body for this. But that's life, I suppose, and we move on. All that it really means is that it'll take me much longer to do this. I'll complete the build in time, but for now, I'm gonna cool off in the creek because it's just incredibly hot. Okay, I know that these videos are supposed to only show 1 week's progress at a time, and this may be considered cheating, but I'm gonna continue working on the shed through next week and put that footage in here. I found out I can work much longer by not focusing on one project, but by working on various projects depending on my energy level and the temperature outside. But here's how a normal day went. I would wake with the sun, eat some breakfast, read a bit, and then work on the storage shed core until it got too hot. Usually that would happen around noon. So I would eat lunch and then work on the storage shed's exterior, i.e. these stone parts, until that got too hot. Then I would make 100 or so bricks and then work on, I don't want to spoil anything for next episode, so we're just gonna call it something. And I would work on that something until the sun set. Then I would clean up, eat, and go to bed. There are 2 main reasons I would do things in this almost exact order. The first reason is that the temperature and humidity level becomes just unbearable at times, and if I work too long under those conditions, it wears me out and slows my progress for the couple days following, and it takes a couple days to recover. The second reason plays on the first, and it's that the order of tasks is decided by the energy and strength required. So I always start with the hardest task first, and as the temperature rises, I move to easier tasks. It's not foolproof, but this way I'm at least playing in the water during the hottest part of the day.
Check it out. There's like 30 of these crawdads in here. That's pretty neat.
Okay, while I was talking, I made a lot of progress on the shed, so let's watch a quick montage of my progress.
Hold you in my arms, won't let go. The world around could pass us by. A thunderstorm, a lightning strike as we hold each other tight. You're the rose in a garden, and it shows if I'm honest. You're the leaves in mid-August.
Nice. One thing I failed to think about was the door, though.
That I love you.
Well, I think we're gonna cap it there for 3 reasons. One is that this video actually airs tomorrow, so I'm out of time to record, and I'm almost out of time to edit, so I need to get this video edited. And 2 is, I'm actually gonna be leaving the land in a couple of days, so I need to make sure I have all the footage required in order to leave. That way, I have everything I need to post and upload videos while I'm gone. And then 3 is, I worked really hard on this project and I ended up burning myself out, so I'm so physically tired that even if I were to work another 2 weeks on this project, I don't think I could get it done, because I can only work on this project a couple hours a day, because it's a lot of physical work, and I just don't have that kind of energy. I've been observing myself over the last 3 months, and from what I can see, whenever I get worn down, it's better just to take a break for a couple of days and then come back to whatever I'm doing, because if I continue to work on it, I may be working on it for 12 hours a day or whatever, but I'll probably only be getting done like an hour and a half of work, because I'll just be moving really slow, and the quality of work suffers from my own tiredness. So for now, we're gonna put a pause on this shelter, which is a bummer because I was really enjoying myself. And hopefully we'll finish it when we come back. If you'd like to see a video solely dedicated to the build, maybe no words, no music, then leave a comment below. But until I see you in the field, happy hunting!